Okay, we're gonna make this time Flappy Bird or something kind of like it. I'm gonna start by just building up the basics of it, and then graphically it's just gonna be like a rectangle for the bird, rectangles for the pipes, and that's about it. And then in a later video, we can add polish to it, make it look a little nicer. But we're just going to get the basic gameplay going today. So the idea here is that I'm gonna start by just building a canvas, and then start getting the shapes. What's different about this project from previous ones is it's going to be like the snake project, the last one, in that it's going to be kind of real time. The game will progress whether you press anything or not. Your bird will fall. There'll be gravity. Kind of like the snake kept moving whether you pressed an arrow key or not. Now you could change its motion by providing an input, but it'll play whether you're pressing an input or not. You have to, like with Snake, press inputs to change its motion to prevent it from going off the screen or from hitting barriers. Same with Flappy Bird, very similar. Flappy Bird, however, won't be grid-based. It'll be more of like a continuous coordinate system. So instead of just having, I'm in column 1 or column 2 or column 3, that's how I move to the right, one tick at a time. In this case, we'll have decimal locations, sort of fractional locations, so you can be at 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, and you can kind of move more freely. You're not stuck to a grid. So the way this will work is that your bird will be kind of to the left to start with, and that's the way it will be. I guess the game will kind of wait for you to press an input, and then it will begin, and then basically we're just going to spawn pairs of pipes from the right side of the screen, and those will move to the left to kind of simulate the bird moving. The bird will actually just stay where they're at on the left side of the screen, but the pipes will move to the left from the right as though they're moving towards the bird, or, since motion is relative, as though the bird is moving towards the pipes. The player will have to navigate through the opening of the pipes, and if they successfully do that, they will score a point. And basically, you just play until you die, and you just see how many points you score. So that's going to be the basic idea of the game. Just to draw that out for you, let me see if I can give you an idea of the kind of things we're going to need in our game. Obviously, we're going to have to make the canvas element, and we're going to have to get the context so that we can draw shapes on it. We're going to need, so the bird's position will be set. So I have a few choices to make. I'm probably not going to make it, I'm probably just going to set the screen to be one particular size. So I'll have, let's say, the map, and that'll be like so. I will have a bird, so let's set something like this, I guess. Why can I not see my bird? There we go. So I'll have like a little rectangle that represents the bird. The bird will fall, but you can press things to make it kind of pop up and down, and so you got to keep it at the right level. And you're going to try to avoid pipes that come at you. There will be pairs of pipes, kind of like what I'm trying to draw here, kind of like so. So there's a pair of pipes, maybe this could be like another pair, and this is the general idea. So what we're going to have is kind of like, let me see if I can sketch this out for you. Sort of. I'm not going to fill it exactly. Not quite. too much. There we go. All right. I think I'm getting the idea here. Okay. So, let me color some of these things so that you can see what I'm getting at. This will be like sky blue back here. So here is Flappy Bird. I'll make these, I don't know, maybe red? Maybe I'll make this a lighter orange so that it looks different. Okay, so here's the idea. So I'm going to have the screen, and I don't know exactly the coordinates. I'm going to have the bird on the left, so there's going to be a fixed left position, an X coordinate, which tells me how far from the left side I am. And the bird is going to be stuck there. The bird's not going to get to move left and right. So I'm just going to choose some sort of an X coordinate to keep the bird at, and that won't move. That'll stay the same. So that doesn't really have to be a variable. I can just set that to something, but that's something I'm going to have to choose. What is a variable is the Y coordinate, the vertical placement of the bird. So I'm going to need a variable at least for that. So I'm going to need player's Y position. So I'm going to call that PY for the Y position of the bird. I'm going to need a Y position for the pipe. So maybe I'll call this BY for bird and PY for the pipe's Y. Every pipe is going to need its own Y coordinate. Other things about the pipe is I need a sort of pipe width. I'll call this gap width actually. And actually I'll call this GY for gap Y position. And then I also need the gap's height. I'll call this gap half height. So we go up that amount and down that amount around the Y position, and that makes the gap. So there's a width, there's a height, which is twice this half height, and there needs to be a sort of Y coordinate for each pipe. Now every pipe will have this every pipe has its own version of, well, these will be the same for the pipes, the width and the half height. But what will be different is the GY. Each GY will be different, and actually each GX, the X coordinate of each pipe. That's something I'm going to need as well. So there's GX, gap X, gap Y. In this case, it's just a pipe. But I'm also going to need the bird X. And other things I'll need, I think I just need a score. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, I actually do need motion for some of these things, so I need more than that. I need a velocity, an X velocity for the, I'll call it gap velocity X. Each pipe, well, all the pipes should share the speed at which they move to the left. The bird should have a Y velocity. So how fast is it moving up and down? And we also kind of need for the bird gravity. And I believe that is all of the variables that we need. So I'm going to need this many variables. But notice I need to duplicate some of these. I need this and this for every pipe. Every pipe needs a pair of coordinates. So it depends on how many pipes I have, how many things I need. So what you'll see that we do is we have a new way of sort of doing this. We're not going to have a set number of objects in the game. We're actually going to make a new type of thing that we haven't used before called an object that we can actually make copies of. If you've used Scratch, it's like clones. In Scratch, you can make one and then duplicate it. That's how we're going to handle the pipes, actually. But we're going to need some variables to start off with. We're going to need an x and a y for the player, a velocity for the player, gravity, that's more of a global variable. We need a pipe speed, that's a global variable. We need a score, that's a global variable. These two are also global variables, the gap half height and the gap width. Those will be set for all the pipes, the same. But every pipe will have a, I guess I should put these in here too. This is for the player. It's kind of global because there's only one player. I don't need multiple versions of the x and y coordinate. But for the pipe, I do need multiple x and y coordinates for every pipe. So I'm going to need duplicates of these. And that's the information, that's the state of the game. With those numbers, I can completely store the state of the game at any point in time. But this one, I need as many pairs as I have pipes at any time. So that's a little different. But these numbers can represent everything that's going on in the game. The picture is just a representation of the state of these values. This is really what I need. So in the next video, I will start building this. And so we're going to make these variables. We're going to make a drawing that fits these variables. We're going to get gravity going. And then we're going to create something called a pipe object, which stores this data, and we're going to be able to make as many pipes as we want. And we're going to have it basically on a timer so that pipes will come at different speeds. And that'll be the game. So that's pretty much what we need to build it. And so we will start that in the next one.